Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, the Shortwave, or Ashwath Srivatsan, whatever you prefer, and welcome back to On the Same Wavelength, where today we'll be summing up the past week in recent political, and recent, general news events. Now, I'm going to try and do a bit more, off-color, subjects today, because recently all we've really been hearing about in the news is Ebola and ISIS. And there's a lot of other stuff going on in general politics and in generally just news. Lots of events are going on that are unrelated to these subjects, but that are still fairly interesting. So I thought it would be nice to focus on them as opposed to the more commonly focused upon subjects that may not even be as relevant. I'm still saying Ebola and ISIS are important subjects, but it's also good to focus on some other things sometimes. So we're going to be starting talking about a shipwreck. An interesting place to start. But we're going to be talking about shipwrecks now. Recently, very recently, in fact, within the past few days, divers descended an astonishing 410 feet into the Mediterranean waters off of Italy, where they discovered a ancient shipwreck near the Aeolian Islands. This shipwreck has various cargo on it, mainly amphoras, and amphora is amphora, that is A-M-P-H-O-R-A, is basically a clay jar, that's, I'll pop an image of it right now, that's mainly used to carry wine, or was used to carry wine, along with, various other liquids, such as, of course, since we're talking about the Mediterranean, olive oil. The ship itself is in fairly decent condition for a shipwreck, and has been estimated to be around in the time period that is around 218 to 210 BC, while a great war was taking place between Rome and Carthage. The ship is called the Paneria III, yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about it. It's a wooden vessel, around 45 to 50 feet estimate long, but it is in some bad condition and has been broken up by a few rocks. Otherwise, it's in fairly good condition. It's just in multiple pieces. So that's a bit of news for you there. Let's, while we're talking about various wrecks, we're gonna move on into our next piece of news, which concerns the famous pilot Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart, set off on a journey to fly around the world, but she never made it, and no one exactly really knew where she crashed. We suspect she crashed, although some people suspect that she flew into an alternate dimension of space and time. That theory has no scientific evidence to back it up, therefore I'm not going to endorse it. However, recently, a piece of aluminum that appears to be part of Amelia Earhart's plane has been discovered in the Pacific Ocean. It was actually discovered a fair while ago, mainly in the 1990s, which was a while ago. Yes, like 20 years ago or so almost. At this point. However, there's been recent research on this, and the metal, the aluminum sheet, seems to match the plane that the type of plane that Amelia Earhart was flying. It has the same bolting and sort of structural feel to it. So this will be an interesting development to see if, in fact, this was actually, part of Amelia Earhart's plane. It was found on a reef, in the Pacific Ocean called the Nikumaroro, I believe that's correct, which was Nikumaroro, that is, and it's a flat sort of coastal coral reef in the coral reef in the Pacific Ocean, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. somewhere between Hawaii and Australia. So that's a pretty broad zone, but we're suspecting that Amelia Earhart did in fact crash somewhere in that range. We're also going to talk about the Antares rocket, which was a U.S. unmanned rocket that exploded a few days ago. Before you get any ideas, this rocket was actually detonated by NASA. It appears that shortly after the launch, NASA detected there to be some flaw with the first stage engines, which were meant to operate on liquid fuel and propel the rocket into the out of the atmosphere. That is, NASA detected what seemed to be failures in this, and it was not safe to proceed with the mission, as the rocket may have failed immediately and flown sideways into populated areas. It's a significant loss considering the cost of the rocket, along with its cargo intended to be delivered to the International Space Station, including children's projects, science projects, and supplies, along with classified materials, which are suspected to just be scanners for and radar blockers for anyone trying to hack into the International Space Station, although not much is known about the matter. So, finally, I thought we would end on a fairly humorous note for this week in politics / general news today. So crash test dummies are fairly common. They're used, obviously, to test cars for car crashes. Now, the typical crash test dummy was modeled and is modeled around a person with a weight of 167 pounds who has a healthy height-to-weight ratio, BMI, and is generally a fairly fit person. However, in America, this is relevant. In America, it seems that 78%, there's a 78% more likely death toll in car crashes for obese drivers. Therefore, crash test dummies are now being modeled after a 270-pound person with a less healthy BMI, and basically a general morbidly obese size. That is word for word, morbidly obese, not just obese. This is done by padding initial models with extra weight and sort of felt material that thickens the waistline. And I think this is pretty humorous. Although it might be sad that Americans are getting, there's this perpetual stereotype of Americans just being really fat and unhealthy, and it now seems that that's actually coming to life with stuff like this. Anyways, that's our week in general news. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like or a comment, whatever you can do to show your appreciation. If you want, be sure to show your friends so that they also get to hear the news. Let's move on into our word of the week now. Our word of the week is, oh man, pronunciation. It's spelled, I'll do the spelling first, Quixotic. I believe this is pronounced quixotic, and it's an adjective meaning foolishly impractical, especially in the pursuit of ideals, or capricious and unpredictable. Fairly useful word. It sounds pretty sophisticated, however, it is somewhat hard to pronounce, but I'm sure you guys will get the hang of it eventually. Anyways, let's move on into our song of the week. But before we get on into our song of the week, I'd like to say thank you so much for dropping by, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of whatever that may be. Now, our song of the week is going to be by Caravan Palace. Now, Caravan Palace is an electro swing band. Electro swing is a genre of music that is basically like swing music, except with a modern electric twist on it. Most all electro swing music is rather not remixes of old music, but actually originally composed swing music, which is then edited to sound more electro. It's a fairly uncommon, unknown genre of music, so I thought I would bring it to you guys and see how you appreciated it, so you can stick around for that. The song will be Queens by Caravan Palace. And thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of whatever that may be. Bye!